This is part 2 of discovering that my father is not my biological father through ancestry DNA. Now, I did a video 2 or 3 years ago on YouTube, and this is part 2 to that video. It'll make its way around. I was quite shocked. I was quite angry. I was upset. And I was in a position where I really couldn't get any answers. My mother had been passed since 2016. My brother passed in 2020 from COVID. And my father passed in 2021, the one that raised me, passed in 2021. So next month will be, 2022. Next month will be 2 years that he's gone. My biological father, I found out, passed through some kind of combat in the military in 1974-75. Now, I have met 2 of my other sibling brothers. Still haven't met one. I have met one of my nieces, and I have kept in communication with a cousin and an aunt and an uncle. Now, the majority of them are all from Louisiana, so very southern. I have one brother that has moved up and is in Virginia. Now, in the last video, I had a lot of questions and a lot of comments on how I should be thankful and that he was such a great man for taking me on as his own. And I said then too that he favored my sister over me. And, it was little things, but not anything major, but he was a pedophile. And I'm not here to speak ill on the dead. I made my amends and my forgiveness years ago. And yes, I helped take care of him until the day he died. But there was a lot of things that I couldn't do, and that's where hospice came in and helped. But that chapter of my life is closed, and I leave that behind me. I do not bring that. I am 55 years old now. There's no use bringing it forward. So, the update is that I have met a couple of my siblings and keeping great communication with some of the other family. They have just accepted me like I have been part of the family the whole time. And one of the biggest things that I had said that I would mention in the next video, which is this one, was that the family I grew up with was very dysfunctional, broken, and abusive. Now, I left at the age of 13 and didn't go back. My brother that I grew up with also left at a very early age, 9 or 12, and he never went back. We didn't go back until we were adults. I think we were looking for apologies from the parents, and one of the parents was just very dysfunctional. And the apologies haphazardly came, but they were accepted. I had to do forgiveness for myself so I could move on. Now, my sister and I, as we matured and became adults, we made it a point to not repeat history. My brother, not so much, but we're gonna peace for him and for his own doings, his own life. He passed from COVID. So the difference between the life that I grew up in and my biological family, my family was so broken and dysfunctional. And lacked compassion, and I just somehow went so the opposite way. I have so much compassion for people that I get stepped on a lot because I get used, but I feel anytime a person needs to be helped, I help them. So from the family that I had to the family that I now have, it is so the opposite. They are foster parents. They are all educated. They are child counselors and engineers, and it's just so the opposite. It's just funny how that works in the universe. Growing up in the family that I was, good grades came naturally to me, and my parents used to pit that against my brother and sister. Why can't you get good grades like her? Why can't you? It kind of pitted in between us, because then they were either angry with me or jealous. I had one of each. So it just, in a dysfunctional kind of family, it just didn't work out. But anyway, I am the only one of the three that continued education and went to college, and I have not repeated that financial instability that we grew up in. So by no means I'm on all the way on the other end, but I am secured in where I'm at right now. So the only answers and questions I can ever possibly get will be when I get to the other side, because that's where all the answers are. But if you think back in the late 1960s, there was no DNA, and it was really kind of frowned upon and looked down on if you were a single mother, let alone a single mother with children by different fathers. So in that sense, I can just assume that mother and father decided, I was going to be that family, and they didn't make it known. And my mother literally took that secret to the grave with her, and maybe unknowingly my father wanted me to know, but I don't know. I have medical issues that they don't have. So, I don't know what his reasoning was, but someone in the universe made him give us those tests, and now we know, but doesn't change who I am. I never got to meet my real father anyway, so for a while I walked around angry and upset because no one told me, and I had a lot of comments and things regarding that, and I have to look back and understand my mother and the person that raised me as my parents and what they thought, and I had to look at the time error in when I grew up, and it was 1968. So, that's just how things worked out. So, that is part 2. I do have relationships with my new siblings. I keep calling them my new, but my siblings and some of the aunts and uncles that are still living. I am told that I looked a spitting image of what my father had been when we were at about the same age. I don't look like, I have dark hair like my mother, but I don't look like my mother, and I didn't look like the father that raised me. So, and it's funny, my sister has a separate father, and I helped her find him, and she is a spitting image of him, and she has 3 other siblings, and none of them look like their father. So it just worked out that way. I'm a spitting image of my father, and she's a spitting image of her father. So it just kind of filled in the voids and questions, and the rest I just let it go. I can't change it, and this is who I am today. So if anything, if y'all are going through this kind of thing, it will work out. You will get past to a point where you just love life today as it is. That's it for today, y'all. Have a good day. Toodaloo!